Hey guys, Malcolm Moore here, and before you skip ahead, just know that this video isn't some wishy-washy off-season training guide of some stuff to do when you can't snowboard. Rather, I've got 3 specific exercises. They're easy to do, you can do them anywhere, and they're going to have a clear, marked improvement on your toe edge performance when you're snowboarding. So stay tuned and let's get into it. So we'll be looking at how, by increasing your ankle flexion, you can really unlock the full potential of your toe edge. Now, when we're riding on an edge, it's important that we keep our upper body aligned so that it's pointing down directly over that edge. So for our toe edge, we flex the ankles, soften the knees, and we push the hips forward. If you were to follow the line of my spine, you would see it points directly down over my toe edge. This sends my weight, my center of mass, over that edge, and that's what gives me grip and stops me from slipping out on the snow. Now, most people are fine at getting into this position, and if you're not, then 100% you need to keep watching and do these exercises I'm about to give you. But even if you can get there, only just making it into this position isn't going to allow you to get that much from your board. By only having this slight bend in your ankles and your knees, you aren't giving your body much of an opportunity to absorb these vibrations, these lumps and bumps that are coming up through the board. And the harder, the faster, the steeper you start riding, the more these vibrations are going to increase until something else just has to give. And it's at this point that you see people breaking at the waist. It's the next big joint as you continue up the body. You've maxed out the suspension on your ankles, your knees, so now it's your hips, your pelvis, and you bend over at the waist. How often have you seen people do this? Maybe they're a beginner just starting to learn and they're doing this on their toe edge side slip, or often people do it when they start riding faster or on steeper slopes. But you really do not want to do it, because as soon as you do that, as soon as you break at the waist, no longer are you sending your weight, your center of mass, down over that edge and creating grip on your board, but you're sending it behind you. You're in fact flattening the board, you lose your grip, and in a worst case scenario, you can actually catch that heel edge and go over the back. You don't want to do it. But we can change this whole picture, make it better, just by doing this. Increasing your ankle flexion, improving your ankle mobility. Now that we can sink down lower, we can flex our ankle more, we can push the knees further forward, so we've got more bend in the ankle, we now have more bend in the knees, but the key here is it really actually unlocks this third point of suspension at our waist, in our hips and in our pelvis. Because my knees are so far forward over my toes, my hips have really come forward over that toe edge, but I don't need to just keep them pushed completely forward. I can now, sorry about the wind, actually pull them slightly back, and if you follow my spine, you will see it is still pointing down directly over that toe edge. What this means is that by having this slight bend there, I've now got much more bounce, much more suspension. I can get down lower, absorb these lumps, bumps and vibrations, but keep my spine aligned over that edge, thus getting much more grip, much more performance out of the toe edge. So without further ado, here are my top 3 exercises to improve your ankle flexion. Now, the first exercise is called dorsiflexion bounces. Your ankle flexes in 2 ways. You have plantar flexion, which is where you point your toes away from you, or dorsiflexion, where you pull them in towards your shin. And it's this range of movement here, the dorsiflexion, that we really want to focus on to help improve our snowboarding. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off in a low lunge position. Put one foot out in front of the other and sink down. And then you're going to start pushing your knee forward over the toes as far as you can until your heel starts to lift off the ground. And when you found that point that it's just lifting 1 or 2 centimeters off the ground, you want to hold it right there, put your hands either side of you, and just start bouncing here, really trying to drive your butt down into the ground and tighten up that angle there between the top of your foot and your shin. So about 50 bounces here, and then just swap legs and do the same thing on the other side. Remember, really try and keep that knee pointing forward over the toes. Don't let it kind of sink one side or the other. And of all the exercises that I've got here, this is the one that I found has really helped me unlock the most flexion. This is the number one you're going to do. So definitely start with this one, and then if you can, try the next 2 as well. So now moving on to number 2. This exercise is going to stretch out your calf muscles. Tight calves are going to inhibit your ankle flexion. I've even found that when teaching some beginners, their calf muscles have been so tight, simply standing in the toe edge position and learning to side slip, after a few seconds, it's been too much and too painful for them. So it's really worth, particularly if you're a beginner, giving this one a go. What you're going to do, you're going to find a step, a ledge, whatever you can, and you're just going to stand on it with the balls of your feet on the step and your heel hanging off the side. Your other foot, you can put it on the side to give you a bit of balance, and you're just going to sink all your weight down into that heel. Really drive the heel down to the floor and feel that stretch up through the calf muscle. You want to hold this for anywhere between 30 to 90 seconds and then switch feet. After you've done that, we're then going to externally rotate the foot outwards slightly. So the first one, we have the knees pointing over the toes, but now we're going to turn the feet out. And this one's really good for snowboarding because it kind of mimics what your feet would be like when you stood in your binding. So it's outwardly rotated feet and knees. So with that foot turned out, repeat the exercise, sink the heel down, really feel that stretch, and go on each leg for another 30 to 90 seconds. Then finally, you can internally rotate your feet as well. It's going to help your ankle mobility, but this is slightly less specific for snowboarding. So if you're tight for time, don't worry about this one too much. Now finally, we're going to do some myofascial release. That is some soft tissue work on your calf muscle. For this, you can use either a foam roller. I prefer to use a lacrosse ball. You can get these mega cheap on Amazon. Or if you don't have either of those things, you can actually use a can of beans. You're going to sit back, you're going to put it up under that calf muscle, and you're just going to roll it back and forwards until you find a tight spot. When you do find that tight spot, you're just going to work through it by sinking your weight into it and going through the full range of movement with your ankle joint. So that means pointing your toes in that plantar flexion and then pulling them back up towards your shin in that dorsiflexion. Do this, work through the pain, get that muscle release, and then go on to find the next spot. So this one, just work it as long as you can on both legs and really work out those tight knots in your calf muscle. Once again, this is just going to help that calf to release, and again will improve that ankle dorsiflexion. So there you have it. Those are my top 3 exercises that will improve your ankle mobility, make you stronger, more flexible, which will then in turn lead to greater performance on your toe edge. So I know it's been a bit different to my usual videos. As you can see, the snow is melting around me. It's been a weird season with no lifts running here, but thankfully the Dorsiflexion Glacier, which is actually just over there, is going to be opening up in just over a week. So hopefully I'm going to be riding over there making more videos. Just got to try and wangle myself a cheaper lift pass, because at 950 euros the season pass is pretty expensive. If you want to help me out in buying that, you can put a little tip in my PayPal jar below, but please, if you do not have the money, don't even think about doing that. The best thing you can do to help me out and support the channel is just give it a little thumbs up, subscribe, and tell your mates about it. Also, drop a comment down below. If you've liked this video, if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, some off-season training, let me know. But if not, let me know as well. And yeah, when I'm in Dizalp, I'll be making more tutorials, so also let me know that. Just let me know whatever you want. I'm waffling. I don't really script this end part of the video. As you can see, I'm not very good at it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, as I said, do all that. See you soon on the snow. Thank you, goodbye.